The following list of videos is going to speak on a topic that affects men all over the world. And we are going to talk about men's mental health. And there are a range or a list of factors that contribute to men going through depression and mental illness. And we are going to dissect it bit by bit. This is going to be a series of videos that speak on these issues that contribute to mental illness or men's mental health problems. So the first one that we're going to talk about is the triggers, the things that affect men or that lead to men going through mental illness. We're going to look at a list of issues. And the first one, I think it contributes the most because a lot of men go through a cycle of achieving certain things and having accolades and forget to look at the specific thing that leads to majority of their problems. The first one is a lack of a lifestyle audit. A lot of men tend to overextend themselves, either be it through family, either be through relationships or friendships. And we're going to start with the family one. You find that a man comes from a bad background and they want to do or get rid of the poverty complex that used to exist in their families. And they go to a point where they overextend themselves and they have a hero complex where they want to save their families from poverty, of which is not a bad thing, but they also need to remember to take care of themselves. So some of their family members would take advantage of that, and they would make these men bend over backwards and use them for resources to champion their own issues. And this leads to a lot of financial constraints or a lot of men going into debt just to take care of their families, and they forget to take care of themselves. So a lifestyle audit is important, that knowing that this is how much I can afford, this is how much I'm willing to give to my family. And then we move to the relationships one. You find that some of these men, they're good men. They have a good guy complex, and particularly a hero complex. They want to be loved so much that they want to do everything and anything for the women that they're dating. And you'll find that some of these women don't actually reciprocate some of the energy that these men are giving into these relationships. And you find that these men jump into relationships without first understanding that somebody needs to love you first for yourself before your money. And these men, they overspend, they get into debt just to maintain these relationships or just to pay the price to be in a relationship with a certain type of girl. And this thing creates a lot of problems for them, and especially financial problems, because men go into debt just to get married. Men get into debt just to be in relationships, just to impress a girl. And a lifestyle audit is really key, and men need to be really transparent and honest with the women that they're dating and say, my sister, this is how much I can afford, this is how much I'm willing to give, if there is something to give. If there's nothing to give, they shouldn't be forcing themselves to give something that is not there. And then we move to the friendships one. You find that this particular man grew up with a certain group of friends, and these friends have been loyal to him and they've loved him even when he had nothing. And then these friends take advantage of him. These friends, they get into his life. Whenever he comes through with his expensive car or whatever car he has, they want him to go chase after wrong things. They want him to go chase after the girls that they all couldn't have. And he's the one who's splurging money, he's buying bottles, and then he gets caught up in that cycle of overspending and a bad lifestyle. So a lifestyle audit is important, that these men need to hold everyone accountable in their lives and tell them, this is how much I afford. And even when these men have a lot of money, you shouldn't be giving you shouldn't be giving people so much of yourself that you forget other parts of you. Yes, spend on your family, spend on your loved ones, but don't let them take advantage of you. So a lifestyle audit is important, and people should understand what you can afford and what you can't afford. And we move on to another part of the discussion. section number 2. Section number 2 speaks about bad company. A lot of men do not evaluate their friend groups. They have people who co-sign them for bad things and bad behavior, meaning that it becomes a problem that you are only friends with people that want to put you in a situation where there's only alcohol and substances involved. And alcohol contributes to a lot of mental health issues for men, or even some of the substances that a lot of you men get into. It is particularly because of the company that you keep. Some of you can't hang around with your friends when there's no alcohol. You can't sit with each other and drink water or drink a soft drink or a soda and just have a conversation and engage and plan about your future plans. It is always has to be alcohol involved. So men need to be wary of the company that they keep, because whenever that you have issues, what is the first point of reference? No, let's go grab a beer, let's go do this. There's times and places where you need to go grab a beer, but you can't be grabbing a beer every single time. Throughout 12 months, whenever you are with your friends, the only thing that is of relevance is alcohol. It can't be, guys. And worse, alcohol accompanies a list of factors. It accompanies nightlife, it accompanies women, sex, and a lot of things. And some of you guys, you have a lot to lose, and you need to be reminded that you cannot be having bad company when you have a lot to lose. Some of you have partners in your life, but you're out here gallivanting with your bad friends because they're your boys, they're your day ones, but you don't look if they have your best interest at heart. Some of you have wives, you've got children, you've built a life for yourselves, you've built a family. Your friends are gonna make you drunk the whole weekend. You can't go to your meetings on Monday, you can't go to work on Monday. You understand how these things affect you. And guess what? When everything crumbles, you are going back to the very same friend group that's going to give you substances and alcohol. So men need to evaluate the company that they keep. And another part that also supports this one of bad company, section number 3, is too much reliance on company. Learn how to be an individual. Learn how to enjoy your own space. Learn how to enjoy a beer by yourself. Learn how to speak to yourself and have a relationship with yourself. Stop wanting to be around people all the time. You cannot thrive. You yourself, you cannot thrive if there's no people around you. You always want to be around a crowd. And it's not helpful if you want good things for yourself. Yes, you need to be around people from time to time. And it needs to be like-minded people, people who vibrate on the same frequency as you. You can't be hanging around people that are going to deter you or derail you from your mission. And that thing stems from you understanding that you need to have a positive and good relationship with yourself and having time alone. A lot of it. Isolation is key to connecting with a higher purpose, connecting with God. Now we move on to section number 4 of this video, and it speaks to a lack of self-discipline. If as a man, you're not in control of your mind, you're not in control of your spirit, you're not in control of your body, you're going to have problems. You're going to have issues. Because that then translates. Let's start with the physical one. The physical nature of things for men is that we are easily stimulated. And a man who does not control his stimulus is going to have problems with self-control. Meaning you are willing, you are the type of man that's willing just to sleep with anything that walks. You do not have standards. You don't have a taste in women. And you'd hear a lot of men saying that they are sleeping with multiple women. But when you look at the women that they are busy with, those women would not lift a finger to assist him in anything. So it's a premise of men understanding that there's a difference between quantity and quality. Yes, you're sleeping with a lot of women, but they're not quality human beings that are concerned about you, that are willing to pour into your life, that are willing to uplift you, that are willing to assist you and become a helpmate in your life. So a lack of controlling your stimulus and you being enticed by the sexuality or the sexual nature of women, you're going to hit a lot of walls. Because on the spiritual side of things, it simply means one thing. A lot of these girls that you guys are chasing after are not good people. Some of them, they're not bathing with just water and soap. They're doing a lot of voodoo things. They're busy with a lot of crazy energies, and they're going to do a lot of crazy things in your life. And not all waters need to be dived in as a man. Do not put your stake in anything that walks. Because men that experience things like baby mama drama and all these things are men who lack self-control. Because if you channel yourself in the right things and pursue good things for yourself, there's no chaos, there's no drama in your life. But you guys lack self-discipline and self-control. And these two things complement one another. Because if you have control over the self, you control everything that you attract. You will not be dissuaded or easily stimulated by anything that walks. But unfortunately, a lot of you guys do not want to understand that premise. Because guess what? When we go into the mental health side of things, when you choose bad women, you are going to experience bad things, of which is going to increase the level of stress in your life. And having women stress in your life is not ideal. You have a lot of problems as a man that you need to tackle. Not the problems of women. You have a lot of things to champion in your life, not because you're chasing after things that are in between their legs. It's imperative. It's counterproductive, especially if you have a vision for your life. So men need to understand this principle and this premise correctly, and they channel themselves into good things and they learn self-control and self-discipline. Because the most important part about what I'm just saying about this part of this video is that a lot of you don't understand. Men who are not in control of themselves are irresponsible with their seed. You take your legacy and you put it in contaminated waters. What do you think the result is going to be in your life? You're continuously going to have stress in your life, of which is easily avoidable by just having self-control and self-discipline. And then we move to another part of the video, of which is important, and it speaks to time management, of how men manage their time. You see, if you don't have hobbies or recreational activities, you'll go back to this whole section of things. That whenever it hits weekend, you are drunk, there's girls, there's this, because you don't have hobbies. You don't have recreational activities that you do on your own or with a few of the friends. Men need to have some form of recreational activity. Hit the gym, do something, go cycling, do golf, do something, play video games. Those things will limit your interaction with chaos. Because you are self-orientated. You do things that please you. You don't do things that make the world happy, or that the world tells you that if you do these things, you are cool. So it's highly important for men to have hobbies and recreational activities, because it channels your energy to positive things instead of chaos the whole time. Whenever you are having disposable income or you have a lot of time in your hands. So if you don't know how to manage your time, you're going to be easily distracted as a man. It's important for you guys to learn and to do those things for yourselves. Time management is important, of which then makes you understand that you need to have things to do with your time. So I hope that this part of the video is also something that you guys can capture and understand and apply in your lives. And It is also important for men to understand. You see, if you don't have goals and ambitions, and those goals and ambitions have a why to it, the why complex. What I mean is this: you know where you're trying to take your life, you know the things that you're trying to accomplish, but you have a reason why you want to accomplish those things. A lot of men know where they want to take their life, know the things they want to accomplish, but they don't know why. Hence, they are quickly their lives always lead to distraction because they don't have the reasoning. The why influences the behavior, the why influences the actions, the why influences the interactions, the why influences the association and the channeling of energy. Because if your why is not strong, you're not a man who has something to lose. You will be able to throw your legacy easily to women, alcohol, and substances because your why is not strong enough. Your reasoning is not strong enough. Your purpose is not that important to you. So if you have your why intact, your purpose counts more than any distraction in the world. You are able to remind yourself every single time, this is why I'm doing the things that I'm doing. And if I do certain things, I'm not going to stay at this level, or I'm not going to grow and reach other pinnacles of my life. And it's important for men to understand the why complex and why it's important. Another thing, and this is the last two sections of the video, and it's something that a lot of men suffer with: validation seeking. A lot of men want to be validated, want to be celebrated, but they want to be celebrated by the wrong people. You guys want to be celebrated by people who don't have your best interests at heart. And it's madness. You grow up in a space where you were nothing, you were never recognized, you were never loved. You work so hard to attain those things and come back to the very same environment that rejected you, to the same girls that rejected you, to the same friends that rejected you. And you are continuously going to pay the price just to be loved. And that thing leads to a lot of problems because you're going to do all these big things for these people, spend all this money for these people. Let one thing go wrong in your life, they are all going to disappear. And guess what? You're going to have mental problems. You're going to have depression, unnecessary depression, of which could have been avoided if you had self-worth and self-respect. Because you don't love yourself, you disrespect yourself so much that you go to the people that don't love you and you force yourself to have friendships with people that don't care about you. It's madness. It's really madness. So stop seeking validation from people who don't have your best interests at heart. And lastly, gents, you guys need to have an action plan. Know who you are, where you're trying to go, what is it that you're trying to do, and why you're doing this thing. And your life's work is going to play right in front of you. And you'll have a purpose and a vision in your life with just those 4 factors. So it's important for you to have an action plan for your life, because your action plan informs your behavior, it informs your mindset, it informs your energy, it informs your associations and friendships, it informs your relationships, it informs the things that you're targeting and the places that you're trying to take your life. So have an action plan. I hope this video is helpful, guys, and you guys have learned something vital from this video.